Web3 TV.
Hello and welcome to Crypto TV. I'm Lisa Amnegard, bringing you the latest news in crypto, Web3, and blockchain. Today we'll be turning our focus towards U.S. stablecoin legislation, where Trump's crypto ventures are starting to become a problem. Last Thursday, a much-anticipated effort to regulate stablecoins in the so-called Genius Act failed to advance in the Senate after key Democrats backed out. The bill, which promised to bring the nation's first-ever federal rules to dollar-pegged digital tokens, needed 60 votes to move to the Senate floor for final passage. But the final tally was only 48 in favor and 49 against. 3 senators did not vote. The defeat marks a significant setback for those seeking clarity in the world of crypto regulation. So what went wrong? Just weeks ago, the Genius Act sailed out of committee with bipartisan support, promising clear regulations for U.S. stablecoins, even allowing issuers to choose between federal or state oversight. But in recent days, Democrats have been pulling their support. Last weekend, 9 pro-crypto Democrats announced they could no longer support the Genius Act. In a statement, they mentioned numerous issues that must be addressed, citing concerns that the bill wasn't fully backed and lacked crucial safeguards on money laundering, national security, and consumer protection. Despite these warnings, Senate Majority Leader John Thune pressed ahead. However, on the sidelines, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer urged Democrats to withhold their support, using their votes as leverage. While there are many bipartisan bills in Congress, it's rare to see a major piece of regulatory legislation authored by both senators from both sides to get defeated like this. It comes down to President Trump. Looming over this debate is a growing concern about the president's direct involvement in the crypto sector. Lawmakers from both parties are uneasy about his financial stake, especially after his family business, World Liberty Financial, launched his own US dollar stablecoin, the USD1, which soared to over $2 billion in circulation, raising red flags in Washington. Critics claim the act could provide regulatory cover for Trump's USD1 stablecoin and argue that the president's recent gains from his venture signal a conflict of interest, especially since the deal occurred just weeks before the stablecoin bill was advanced. And making matters worse, Trump recently announced an exclusive dinner for his top Trump token holders. The dinner highlights growing unease, and several watchdogs argue that this could violate federal laws, and that the bill should be re-examined to protect national interest. But let's put this into perspective. High-priced dinners for access to the president isn't new. Obama hosted a dinner in 2010, charging supporters $36,000. And Clinton, she really cashed in, charging supporters $350,000 for a fundraising dinner. You even got to go to Clooney's house, followed by a concert with Katy Perry and Elton John. Whether this is ethical or not is a separate question, but paying for access to the president has been out there for a very long time. At least what Trump is doing here, he's put up some eligibility with KYCs, no additional guests, and background checks in place. So the event appears secure. But the real concern is that the president is front-running his own coin from the Oval Office, which raises some ethical questions. At its core, this is about whether he can continue his crypto ventures while leading a push to make America the crypto capital of the world. Just last week, in response, Democrats introduced the End Crypto Corruption Act, which would ban the president, vice president, members of Congress, and senior officials from profiting from crypto while in office. Representative Maxine Waters was very vocal about this and recently halted a crypto hearing in protest, declaring,
"I object to this joint hearing because of the corruption of the President of the United States and his ownership of crypto and his oversight of all the agencies. I object."
Over in the Senate, Elizabeth Warren has led the charge, warning that any stablecoin legislation must include strict safeguards against self-dealing and abuse by public officials. So where does this leave the Stablecoin Act, and what does it mean for investors in the U.S.? Senator John Thune has announced plans to file a motion to reconsider the Genius Act later this week, which could allow for another vote. However, this is still very uncertain if the bill would pass, and if it's defeated, lawmakers would likely have to shelve the proposal and focus on finding a new approach. And for investors wanting to expand in the U.S., this situation means ongoing regulatory uncertainty and means companies must navigate complex and inconsistent regulations. Ultimately, the more the government works together to enact common sense legislation, the safer and more lucrative the business will be for everyone. President Trump expects a stablecoin legislation bill on his desk by August, but with the current ambiguity, those plans remain uncertain. And that's all that we had for you today. My name is Lisa Amnegard, and you're watching Crypto TV.
Web3 TV.